Good morning, everybody. Welcome to episode 11 of the PCBC, the Pennsylvania College Basketball Court. I'm your judge, Noah Sipper, and today we're going to be going through a recap from Saturday's matchup up at Edinboro, and then looking at the games from Saturday. Probably spend some time looking at the games, probably the top scorer from each game, more likely, and then we'll look at our previews for tonight's matchups in the PSAC, what's going on around the PSAC, and excuse me. Then looking at IEP's matchup tonight with Seton Hill. But before we get started with that, I'd like to bring me a special guest. Pete, there. Wait, you got something to tell me? What is it, Bubba? We have just received reports that we have finally reached a conclusion on the Andrew Shaw transfer portal. That's right. The Andrew Shaw transfer portal saga has reached its final conclusion. We have heard reports now that on Monday, the former Pitt Johnstown point guard, native of Milton, West Virginia, has announced he will be committing to West Liberty University, home of the Hilltoppers. So, in conclusion, Andrew Shaw basically goes from a bottom-tier team in the PSAC this season to arguably the best team, one of the best Division II basketball programs in the entire country. So, Pitt Johnstown just suffered a major L for this loss of Andrew Shaw. Shaw basically goes from the bottom and basically goes to the top. If you can't beat them, I guess you have to join them. Good old Kevin Durant might know that joke. Anyways, besides that joke, let us begin. Court is now in session for episode 11. Looking at our matchup from Saturday, IEP secured a huge road win against a very stingy Edinboro team that just came off a win in a season sweep against Mercyhurst of all teams. It was hard to believe, to say the least. But besides the point, Edinboro was still a team not to take lightly, and IEP took advantage of that. Looking at the first half, IEP led 42-35 in the first half. IEP shot arguably their best shooting game of the entire season. In the first half, they shot 17 of 28 from the floor, 60.7%, 7 of 12 from the free point line, 58.3%, and then only took 2 free throw attempts in the first half, hit 1 out of 2. Edinboro in the first half shot 15 of 32 from the floor, 46.9%, 1 of 4 from 3, 25%, and hit all 4 of their free throws in the first half. In the second half, game was a lot more competitive, as it was Edinboro was only down by, I think, like 2 points before Garvin Clark hit a mammoth 40-foot three from just on top of the top corner of the E in the center court of the Edinboro logo to sink a huge bucket to keep IEP up by 5 points with about 1 minute and 10 seconds left to go. And IEP would not bend. They would hold on to win this game. IEP outscoring Edinboro 33-32 in the second half. IEP shooting 12 of 23 from the floor, 52.2%, 3 of 8 from 3, 37.5%, and 6 of 9 from the free throw line at 66.67%. Edinboro shot 12 of 33 from the floor in the second half, shooting 36.4%, 5 of 13 from 3, 38.5%, and then 3 of 5 from the free throw line at 60%. Overall, IEP had, like I said, arguably one of their best shooting games of the season. 29 of 51 from the floor, 56.9%. 10 of 20 from 3, 50%, and 7 of 11 from the free throw line at 63.6%. Edinboro shot 27 of 65 from the floor, 41.5%, 6 of 17 from three-point range, 35.3%, and 7 of 9 from the free throw line at 77.8%. IEP was led by, of course, the guy who has been continuing to catch fire at the right possible time, Ethan Porterfield has now cemented himself as the second player in program history to record 1,800 career points, only behind Darrell Webb, of course, who is still the all-time leading scorer for the time being at 1,949. Porterfield has played with fire in the last 4 games, shooting 59% from the floor and 48% from 3 in his last 4 games. That's just insane. In this game, he was, of course, Ethan Porterfield himself. 35 points. You thought that Pitt Johnstown was impressive, scoring career best 33. Well, he basically said, no, I'm going to do better than that. Scores 35 to break his career high for the second straight game, shooting 12 of 18 from the floor, 6 of 9 from 3, and 5 of 7 from the free throw line, 7 rebounds and 2 assists with 2 blocks, giving him 159 career blocks, and only 3 behind Darrell Webb for second all-time in career blocks. So he may potentially be second all-time on that list very soon. In 1 steal, Garvin Clark in 33 minutes shot 9 of 19 from the floor, 2 of 5 from 3, including that massive 40-foot three-pointer that kept IUP in the lead for the remainder of the game. 1 of 2 from the free throw line. He had a 21-point double-double along with 7 assists, so very close to a triple-double for Garvin Clark. It feels like one of these games, man, Garvin Clark next season is going to hit a triple-double in one of these games, and it'll be awesome to see. Bryce Radford had 3 of 5 from the floor, 2 of 4 from 3, 4 rebounds, and 8 points. Stewie, 6 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, shooting 3 of 6 from the floor. KJ Rhodes did not take a single field goal attempt in 24 minutes played. 1 of 2 from the free throw line, had 1 point, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist. Josh Penno, 16 minutes played. He had both his field goal attempts, 3 rebounds and 4 points. Sart Fern played 30 minutes off the bench, did not take a single field goal attempt, but he did have 3 rebounds and 1 steal and 1 block and 1 assist for the freshman. And Demir Brooks in 3 minutes had basically zeros on the board. 1 field goal attempt. It was a 3-pointer, actually. Did not make it, unfortunately. He had 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 1 foul, 1 turnover. Bernie Blunt was Edinboro's top scorer. No surprise there. He shot 9 of 21 from the floor, 4 of 7 from 3, 27 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. The key stat line on this one is, though, he shot 5 of 7 from the free throw line, or about 71.4%. For a guy who is top 6 in the nation in field goal and free throw percentage at 92.3% heading into this game, was kind of shocking. Mador Seye, the number 2 scorer in terms of the starting lineup. Jack Gallagher only had 2 points in this game. 2 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Will Taylor was their number 2 scorer with 12 points, 7 rebounds, and 1 assist, shooting 5 of 9 from the floor. J.J. Eubank off the bench shot 3 of 8 from the floor, 2 of 6 from 3, 8 points. And then they had 2 guys with 0 points. Easton Fulmer, former Franklin Knight, and Ian McNeil in 6 minutes did not take any shots. Had 1 assist, though, to go with that. Overall, IUP rebounds. IUP out-rebounded Edinboro 35-28. Personal fouls, 17-16 in favor of Edinboro. Blocks, 4-2 in favor of IUP. Turnovers, only 10 for Edinboro, 16 for IUP. So that was kind of surprising, to say the least. 3 steals for IUP, 7 for Edinboro. But IUP prevails to win 75-67. IUP improves to 16-8 on the season, 13-5 to stay in 3rd place in the PSAC West. Edinboro drops to 7-18, or 6-13 in conference play, which still remains 7th in the PSAC West. Now we look at our matchups from Saturday, and like the previous matchups we saw from January 20th. Another 7-1 performance. So finally, the streak of 6-2s is finally over. Thank goodness. Went 7-1 on Saturday. The only game I missed was actually Kutztown and Bloomsburg. And speaking of Bloomsburg, congratulations. You've been chosen as the biggest dud of the weekend. I don't feel disappointed in you. I thought you guys would have a chance. Oh, wait, hold on. Trying something new here. I now have a laptop, so we're going to, let's see. Shut down. There we go. All right. See if this works on the first try. Hopefully no ads. Please don't give me an ad. There we go. Hold on. Congratulations, Bloomsburg. You're the biggest dud of the weekend. Yeah, no, what a disappointment, man. So let's look at our matchups from Saturday. Pitt Johnstown playing at SRU on their senior day. SRU prevailing 61-58 in a close game. SRU shot 41.5% from 4, 13% from 3. Pitt Johnstown shot 34% on 71 field goal attempts on 28% from field. And they shot 36% from the free throw line. SRU shot 80% in 5 free throw attempts. And they got... Anyway, what up? All right, anyways. Yeah, so that was a really crappy game. And unfortunately, guess who IP gets to deal with on Saturday? And it's not Attica Volchik, so this is going to be a tough matchup coming up on Saturday. Gannon at home against Clarion. No surprise there. Gannon won pretty easily, 100-81. Gavin Caude was their number one scorer, 24 points, shooting 6 of 9 from 3. Cam Kearney with 22 points. Jeremy Thomas, the freshman out of Shippensburg, 14 points, 8 rebounds for him. They had 43 rebounds. So did Gannon, actually, believe it or not. They had 5 players with double-digit points, led by, of course, Josh Omahafa, 20 points, only 2 rebounds and 3 assists. Tipton had 18.6 rebounds. Mike Matano, who I think was picked as the PSAC West Defensive Player of the Week, 16 points, 11 rebounds. And then Ernest Shelton, 10 points. 10 points, 5 rebounds for him. Oh, I forgot. Nigel Houghton, 11 points, 4 rebounds. Gannon shot only 41% from the floor. They took 31 free throw attempts. Clarion actually surprisingly had a better field goal percentage. On 62 attempts, they shot 48% from the floor. That's just kind of crazy, but I mean, I guess they had to foul and they didn't have a choice. Seton Hill and Mercyhurst. I picked Mercyhurst in this game from the previous matchup. I picked Seton Hill and I said, you know what, Mercyhurst, it's a road game. I think Mercyhurst will win this game, and they did, of course. 64-59. Drew Green and Curtis Kendricks both had 12 points. Kendrick Curtis, not Curtis Kendrick. Curtis had 12 points, 9 rebounds. Jimmy Moon, not my man Buster Moon from Sing, 6 points, 7 rebounds. Ryan Mice, man, he was ice cold at Mercyhurst. 1 of 12 from the floor, and all those shots were 3-pointers, man. He didn't take a single freaking field goal attempt from 2-point range, other than hitting 1 of 12 from the floor, which was 1 of 12 from 3. In 28 minutes, he had 3 points and 2 rebounds. And he is still their number one scorer. That is sad. Sorry for your loss of your shooting ability, Ryan. Oh, crap, actually. I forgot to pick Forgot to do Mercyhurst. Sean Fullerton, who's been playing pretty well recently. 24 points, number one scorer. Jeff Planutis, their number one scorer, had only 8 points and 6 rebounds. Wow, this was a slugfest, to tell you. 12 lead changes, and 6 times the game was tied, so definitely crazy. 43% from the floor, 35% from 3, and 68% from the free throw line for Mercyhurst. Seton Hill shot 42.6% from the floor, 31% from 3, and 62.5% from the free throw line. Man, some really ugly games. Millersville at home against Mansfield. This was a really interesting game. Mansfield actually was leading parts of this game when I looked. But Millersville prevailed to win 98-91 in the first overtime. 22-15. Holy smokes. A really good scoring overtime. Mansfield actually led 42-33 at the half. And then Millersville outscored them 43-34. Michael Dixon had 25 points. Siraj Ali with 23 and 12 rebounds. Idris Ali, 16 points, 2 rebounds. They shot 45.5% from the floor, 33% from 3, and 78.9% from the free throw line. Millersville, they had 3 20-point scorers led by Jaden Faulkner with 24, Matt Dade with 22, Drew Stover with 22 and 14, and then Day Waters with 16 points and 6 rebounds. They had 3 players play 40-plus minutes in that game. So, crazy. And unfortunately, it would have been even better. Would have been crazy if Millersville would have lost to Mansfield. The one game I got incorrect, Bloomsburg at Mansfield. And that's surprising because they had Bloomsburg had 6 players with double digits. Louis Wild with 13, Matt Bengal, Kyle Saglabin with 11. Trevor Elmore was actually the number one scorer off the bench. He had 14 in 17 minutes. Madoyi Richards and Jagger Dressler both had 10 points. So they only had 3 points from their other guys. Shooting 45% from the floor, 33% from 3, and 60% from the free throw line. Kutztown had Jaden McGee and Brent Ricketts Jr. both had 22 points and 5 rebounds each. Amir Cunningham had 10 points and 10 rebounds. They shot 44% from the floor, 44.4% from 3, and 76.5% from the free throw line. East Stroudsburg at Shippensburg. Again, Shippensburg having a massive down year. No surprise there. Lakeem McGill played 16 minutes in this game. They only had 2 guys that played, 13-plus minutes in their starting lineup. That's kind of crazy if you think about it. Lakeem McGill, 16 points in 16 minutes. Nasir Griffin, 15 points. Justin Paws, 13 points. They had 4 players actually had, if I'm reading this right, 4 guys had more minutes than Jelaine McGlow that were on their bench. Shamir Johnson, Jalen Picardo, Cam Young, and Carson Howard. Shippensburg, Marcus Franks had 31 of their 73 points, shot 80% from the field, but only shot 7 of 12 from the free throw line. And then Denzel Figueroa had 12 points, was the number 2 scorer, and he came off the freaking bench. Then, of course, IUP being Edinboro by 8. Again, 7-1 performance. Congratulations to myself on another good performance. We look at today's matchups. And I'm going by the standings first, of course, because why not? Let's do it. Standing-wise, have we secured any seeds yet? Not yet. So, we still have a 3-way tie for first place in terms of conference records in the PSAC. East Stroudsburg leads the way of those 15-3, 15-3 teams. East Stroudsburg was ranked 10th, but lost to Lock Haven last Wednesday, which dropped them to 15th overall in the country. They're still 21-3 on the season. Millersville, as it was voted as an honorable mention in the receiving votes poll, 20-4 on the season. Lock Haven coming off that massive win against East Stroudsburg and sweeping them in the regular season. 17-6 on the season for them. Westchester is 15-9 with a 12-6 record in conference play, already securing a bid into the PSAC tournament. Shepherd could get into the tournament tonight with a win or a loss from Shippensburg or Bloomsburg or both, depending on what happens. They're 10-14 on the season, 7-12 in conference play. Mansfield still holding on by a game right now with 3 games left. They have a 1-game advantage over Shippensburg. They're 7-17 on the season, 5-14 in conference play. So you're going to probably see a team with 20 losses in the freaking playoffs, which is stupid to believe, but it's going to probably happen, more likely, unless anything crazy happens. Shippensburg is 7th at 8-17 on the season, and they're 4-15 in conference play. They go from 16 wins in the conference last year in the number 1 seed to 15 losses in the following year. Just what a disappointment they've been this year. Bloomsburg is still 8th at 3-15 in conference play. They're 5-19 despite that loss to Kutztown, which prevails Kutztown to now 4-21 on the season with a 3-16 record in conference play, which means I don't think we're going to have a 20-loss team in the conference this season, which kind of sucks. But whatever, we move on from there. In the playoff standings, East Stroudsburg and Millerstown would get first-round byes. Lock Haven hosting Mansfield. Westchester facing Shepherd. That still hasn't changed and probably won't change for the foreseeable future. You're going to have 2 losing conference records in the playoffs in the PSAC East. That just shows you how bad the East has been this year. I mean, Shepherd, the best they can do is 10-12. And think of this. If we go to the last year's standings, I think 12-10 was the set. Yeah. 11-11 was the 6 seed last year. And that was Shepherd, who made it in by a game over Kutztown, who was 10-12 last season. So that's kind of crazy to believe. In the West, Gannon and Cal, no surprise there, they're top 2 seeds. Probably your top 2 seeds for the formidable future. Unless, Cal would somehow lose, but I don't think that's going to happen at this point in the season. IEP is still 3 at 16. Gannon 17-2 in conference play on the season. 23-2 on the season. Was ranked 7th, now ranked in the top 5 in the country. And speaking of Cal, another top 10 team in the country that's now in the rankings is Cal. They were ranked, I think it was 14th. Yeah, 14th. They are now ranked 9th in the country. And IEP has to go down to Cal next week in a must-win game to keep their hopes in the Atlantic region alive. They're 21-3, 15-3 in conference play. IEP with 3 games left in PSAC and 4 games left in PSAC conference play. 16-8 on the season, 13-5 in conference play. Most likely the 3 seed at this point, unless anything would happen with Cal. That's the highest they can go because they cannot pass Gannon for the 1 seed. So the highest IEP at this point in the season can be the 2 seed. I'm going to say the absolute lowest they are going to be is a 4 seed at worst. So they're between a 2 and a 4 seed at this point heading into the PSAC tournament in about 12 days from now. SRU is 4th. We'll see them on Saturday. Huge matchup at the Morrow Fieldhouse. Game I will actually be in attendance for. Not including tonight, but starting Saturday. So the game at SRU, game at Cal, and the game at home against Clarion. You bet I will be at all 3 of those games. And then possibly the March 4th opening round playoff game, which would be against the team we're facing tonight if the standings were final today. Mercyhurst, 13-13, 9-9 in conference play. Seton Hill is the team we're facing tonight. They would be actually the team we would face in the opening round of the PSAC tournament. They are 8-10 on the season in conference play, 13-11 overall on the year. So most likely at this point, you're basically seeing your final 2 seeds going to probably be clinched tonight. Mercyhurst can clinch a bid into the PSAC tournament with a win or another loss from Edinboro. which I actually have happening tonight, I think. No. I don't think Edinboro plays tonight. Edinboro 7th. They're 6-13 on the season, 7-18 overall. Clarion in 8th place. They're pretty much done. Their season's over. 5-14 in conference play, 7-18 overall. Loss would make them eliminated. Would automatically eliminate them if they haven't already been eliminated from the chances of going to the PSAC tournament. So the streak continues for Clarion, ending in the next season. And then Pitt Johnstown already eliminated. They're 4-15 in conference play, 6-19 overall on the season. Gannon and Cal, top 2 seeds. IEP would face Seton Hill, and SRU would host Mercyhurst. Let's look into our matchups tonight. We got, here we go. Okay, yeah. I don't know why I had that there first. Okay, anyways, we're going to go with this one first. Millersville, 20-4 in the season, 15-3. One of those 3 teams in that 3-team race in the PSAC East. Traveling to Kutztown, who has been the basement team the entire season. They've been trash. Lock Haven and Mansfield. Lock Haven, another 15-3 team. Mansfield 7-17, 5-14 in conference play, but still holding on to the 6th seed for right now. Yeah, they could potentially break their drought as the team with the longest drought to not make the PSAC tournament. They would take that over and give it to Clarion if Mansfield would hold on to make the PSAC tournament. Bloomsburg traveling to East Stroudsburg to about 80 miles east to the Jersey border near the Delaware Water Gap. East Stroudsburg now ranked 15th in the country. The third and final team that is ranked 15 that is 15-3 in conference play. Bloomsburg coming off that huge loss at Kutztown. They're 3-15 on the season in conference play. Westchester 4th place in the PSAC East, 12-6, taking on Shippensburg, who is 7th in conference play and still very much alive, although slim chance that they make the PSAC tournament. Anyways. Then we go to the PSAC West games. The Battle of Erie Part 2. Gannon won the first matchup between these 2 teams. Game is now being played at MAC instead of Haggerty Family Event Center. So that could be a really interesting environment for a top 5 team. And the last time a top 5 team went into the MAC, they got beat pretty badly. So we'll find out and see what happens tonight. SRU, my hometown college I go to, traveling to the second closest facility near my house in Clarion, who is 5-14 in conference play. SRU pretty much is going to be playing this game. Clarion basically has nothing to lose at this point in the season. And then Cal traveling to Pitt Johnstown. Cal now ranked 9th in the country. Gannon is again top 5. Pitt Johnstown's basically been a basement team this entire season since that losing streak they had not that long ago. Looking at our and then finally IEP at home against Seton Hill. IEP again 16-8 on the season, 13-5 in conference play, 3rd in the PSAC West, coming off an 8-point win at Edinboro, thanks to the success of and the continuing dominance of Ethan Porterfield, keeping them alive. Seton Hill, coming off a 5-point loss on the road at Mercyhurst, is 13-11 on the season, 8-10 in conference play, in the 6th seed in the PSAC West. Again, if these 2 teams, if the regular season ended today, this would be your opening first-round matchup in the PSAC tournament. This is the 25th meeting between these 2 programs. IEP is 23-1 against them all time. They're 1-0 this season in a game that I was at earlier this year on January 24th. Pretty sure. Yes. They won 81-73. Now let's take a look at the 7 key elements of Noah's fundamentals of basketball. We go by PSAC rankings as per usual. Seton Hill has an advantage on offense. Seton Hill's averaging 73.5 points per game. compared to IUP, who's averaging 72.5 points per game. Seton Hill ranked 13th. IUP ranked in the bottom 4 at 15. Defensively, these are two of the top 6 teams in terms of points per game allowed on defense. IUP, though, is an advantage at 68.5 points per game, ranked 3rd compared to Seton Hill, who's averaging allowing 73.5 points per game. They're ranked 6th on defense. Field goal percentage, Seton Hill shooting 45.1% from the floor as a team. That is ranked 11th overall in the conference. IUP in the bottom 5 ranked 14th at 43.7%. Field goal percentage, 3-point wise, these teams have identical 3-point field goal percentages. At 34.2%, IUP is ranked higher on the PSAC list. They're ranked 10th. They're both tied for 10th, technically. But I have the advantage going to IUP thanks to their performance on Saturday, shooting 50% from 3-point range. Free throw percentage, again, these are absolutely the 2 worst free throw shooting teams in the conference. Seton Hill, 68.1%, second to last, and IUP dead last at 66%. Rebounding, IUP has advantage. Rebounding has 37 rebounds per game compared to Seton Hill, 35.2, ranked 13th. And then for assist-to-turnover ratio, 2 of the top 10 teams in that category. IUP is second at 1.22. Seton Hill at 9th at 0.97. Their top 3 scorers, top 3 players to look at are led by the ice-cold brick known as Ryan Mice, who came off a dreadful 1 of 12 performance against Mercyhurst. 13.8 points per game, 3 rebounds, shooting 41.2% from the floor, and 37.4% from 3. Still a pretty good shooter overall. We got to keep an eye on him. Number 2, Drew Green, 9.5 points per game, 5 rebounds, shooting 52% from the floor and 40% from 3. And then their last player, number 23, Gabe Gillespie, not related to my main man from Villanova, Colin Gillespie. 9.5 points, 5.9 rebounds, shooting 57.1% from the floor and 20% for 3. And he's only taken 5 3-point field goal attempts, only has hit 1 of those 5 attempts. IUP's top 3 is, of course, led by number 11, Ethan Porterfield, who has been on an absolute tear in his last 4 games. Scored 22 against Mercyhurst, 31 against Gannon, 33 against Pitt Johnstown, and 35 against Edinboro to reach his total of 1,804 career points. He is second all-time, and a guy I think could potentially be IUP's all-time leading scorer. It's a long shot, but it is definitely doable. Looking at the stats, we'll get to that in a minute. Porterfield is the 5th highest scoring player in program in the conference this season at 19.6 points per game. He's tied for 3rd in rebounds at 8.9. Shooting 47.6% from the floor and 38.4% from 3. And like I said, in his last 4 games, he's scoring 30.3 points per game, 8.3 rebounds, and 39.2 minutes played per game. Shooting 59.2% from the field. Wow, I cannot speak today. And then 48% from 3. Last week, he averaged 34 points a game in the 2 games he played and shot 75% from the floor. That is absolutely insane to think about. Then Garvin Clark, who's also been on a tear, he's averaging 18 points a game, 9th in the conference. He's 9th in rebounds at 7.3 per game, shooting 43.2% from the floor and 27.8% from 3. And then Bryce Radford, number 4, or 14 on the road, but he's home, so we're going with 4. He's scoring 12.4 points per game, 1.1 rebounds, 39.9% from the floor, 40.3% from 3. Excuse me. Well, that's actually kind of crazy. According to this stat, it says Garvin Clark is the only player in Division II basketball to be averaging 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 5.6 assists per game. He's ranked 12th nationally in assists. That's kind of crazy. IEP's 36-8 in February since the start of the 2017-18 season. We look at the stats. Yeah, I got that. I got that. Yes, let's look at the stats. Career-wise for Ethan Porterfield, we look at his stats. Second all-time in scoring, 1,804. He's second all-time in career field goals made at 672, but at the pace he's at, he will most likely pass Darrell Webb at some point in the next week or two. Career field three-pointers made, he's barely in the top. He's just now outside the top 5. He's at 223 career three-pointers made. He's 6 from tying Anthony Glover Jr. for third all-time on the list. Most likely will be in the top 5 within the next couple games. Career rebounds, he's 5th all-time at 842, but most likely will hit 900. He'll most likely finish 3rd all-time on that list. Career blocks, 159. He's 3 behind Darrell Webb for 2nd all-time on that list. Games played is where Ethan Porterfield will be with his matchup on Saturday. He will move into the top 4 all-time heading into next week. He's at 124 games played in his career. He's 108 and 16 all-time in his career. Yeah, kind of crazy to believe that he's been there for that long. Let's see. Yeah, he's 5th in points, 4th in tied for 3rd in rebounds, 2nd in double doubles, 4th in minutes game per played, and he's total 4th in 3-point field goals made at 63. It's kind of crazy. Games played, he's right now 9th. Field goal made, 2nd. Points, 2nd. 3-point field goals made, 6th. And rebounds, 5th. All time. So that's kind of crazy. He's won 111 games in his career at IEP. That's just absolutely insane to think about. So looking at our matchups tonight. 3 keys of the game. I completely forgot about this. Number 1, you can't guard 11 right now. And hopefully that continues to be the narrative going into this week. With these next 4 matchups with Seton Hill, SRU, Cal, and of course Clarion on Senior Day. Hopefully you can keep an eye on 11, try to keep making history. If you count the 1 guaranteed playoff game, he would need 29.2 points per game on average to become IP's number 1 scorer. That's the absolute minimum. He's 146 points away. It's definitely doable, but we'll see what happens. Number 2, the Battle of US 119, Part 2. Of course, these two teams are not far from each other. If you take the short trip up 119 from the Westmoreland County seat of Greensburg, you would eventually go through Blairsville, take the exit up north via 119 from the interchange of US 22 to get to Indiana County's seat of Indiana, of course. So this is going to be a big matchup. For sure, coming into the night, Seton Hill, is pretty terrible. If you look at their number, they're pretty bad against IEP. But, this is definitely a game you don't want to, let Seton Hill take advantage of. And then number 3, it's a big week coming up because not only do we have the Battle of US 119 tonight, we got another US route battle coming up on Saturday, the Battle of US 422. As SRU is Saturday. Big matchup coming up. And this is going to be a really tough game. I know it will be. I know IEP has played in Mora Fieldhouse on several occasions. Always a very close game. Usually like a 1 to 2 possession game. Except for, of course, last year when IEP beat them by 15. But I think it's definitely going to be a 1-2 possession game for sure. I think it will definitely be close. Predictions for tonight's matchups. We start with Lock Haven at Mansfield. I'm picking Lock Haven. Millersville at Kutztown. This is my lock of the day in the PSAC East. We're going with Millersville beating Kutztown. Bloomsburg host at East Stroudsburg, picking East Stroudsburg. Shippensburg at Westchester, picking Westchester. Gannon at Mercyhurst. This game could be close, but I'm going to go with Gannon. SRU at Clarion. I'm picking Clarion, or not Clarion. I'm picking Slippery Rock. As much as I really think Clarion could potentially pull off an upset, I still think SRU is going to win. Cal at Pitt Johnstown, lock of the weekday for the PSAC West is, of course, Cal beating Pitt Johnstown. This is going to be an easy matchup. I think Pitt Johnstown is no match for Cal. Then Seton Hill and IUP, if we go by the 7 key elements of Noah's fundamentals of basketball, IUP has advantage on 4 out of 7, which is good. That would be defense, 3-point field goal percentage, tied. Rebounds and assist to turnover ratio. Last time these two teams met, IUP played really well. Seton Hill kind of had a couple garbage 3-pointers at the end from Ryan Mice, including the one at the buzzer, but it still didn't matter. IUP played really well. Seton Hill was trying to push IUP's buttons, but IUP would not let Seton Hill win that game. And I think IUP will beat them once again. I mean, Seton Hill IUP's usually never had issues with Seton Hill. And I think IUP will dominate this game. I think Ethan Porterfield will. His bar right now, I have him setting at 20. I had it originally at 21 points. We're going to go with 24 as his minimum tonight. I think he's going to score. I think he has a chance to score another 30-point game. Maybe 37. I mean, we saw 31, 33, 35, maybe 37 would be nice. That would be really cool to see. But time will tell. With that being said, thank you all for joining for episode 11. We will see you on Friday for the big matchup between SRU and IUP, part 2 this season, matchup number 197 overall, coming up on Saturday. Until then, thank you all for joining, and thank you for thank you all for joining. We'll see you for the next episode on Friday. This is Judge Noah Smithbauer signing off.